let's approve the minutes from February 18. There's no corrections. Minutes approved. Approved. Thank you. I guess we're going to start with welcoming Mario. Thank you, Mario, for being here today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to report?
Not at this point. So I'm the corporal signed it downtown about a week and a half ago. I made a move over. So it's my second time working downtown. About 5 years ago, I was one of the downtown officers. Back then it was Corporal Lizardi. So I'm back again. I'm here to try to help as possible. And what concerns you have is downtown business. This is your important area. This is my important area. So this is my day off. The others are spring break, but I hope it's important for you to be here on the first meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I look forward to working with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna be calling. I'm gonna be calling. In this block over here, and probably hold on. Yeah, I guess everybody is in different blocks, so they have different issues. So I have like bad issues in there. So, yes.
May I request that that I address the board? I have been to a couple meetings, I just want to bring a couple to attention.
Yeah.
You know, normally you know that I've been around the city forever and ever. In fact, I was just talking to a couple of people. My office was here a couple of years ago. Project. Of course, a lot of people know that I'm a member of the board. Of course, I always appreciate being a member of the board, making sure that we move down forward. But I did get a lot of phone calls over the last 30 days or so about the progress of the construction here on 4th Street. And of course, I think we had 1 or 2 meetings where we had people that actually attended the meeting. We were not perhaps very friendly or perhaps very appreciative of the things that we do. But I just want to make sure that whatever we do, from this point on, maybe a couple of months now, that we really make sure that promote the progress of the construction program here in on 4th Street. I mean, and I know that some of these maybe might have been following this thing, day to day. Somehow or another, we need to communicate to our commercial community that one of the reasons we exist is for and one of the reasons that we meet and confer, and we have some great staff that we're doing for them. So I don't know if there's anything else that we can provide to them as it stands today. I don't know if there's any other meetings that we need to promote stand today. I don't know if we need to make any communications in writing or verbally to promote the development and the construction. But I did know that, in fact, someone sent me an article about the lawsuit that the construction company is facing, or the city is facing. So I don't know if we got that area in our agenda, or whether, I hope you don't mind, I did want to share this with you, because I'm a little concerned that perhaps many people may not be viewing us as the sincere and the strong advocates for their businesses. And we need to provide that direction, we need to provide that attitude, we need to provide that display that we're for them. That's one of the reasons we exist, Mr. President, and that's one of the reasons why I was so glad to be added to the board, because I really I have a long term of election, and I want to help them. I want to help their businesses. I want to help their projects. I want to help the city. So I just want to share that.
Thank you.
And if there's anything that I can do, participate in, calendar, it's kind of crazy, especially when one, not a quarter carriage, it's like 2,000 now. But I'm here to help you guys, but if there's anything that we need to do more, we need to be more aggressive with the city, and we need to be aggressive with the transportation department. Whatever we need to do, we need to show it.
I know OCPA is doing a very, they're doing a lot in Tricia, why can't more construction, the progress, and everything they're doing. They're not, every day I see something they're doing to promote the businesses.
Really quick, I just want to do a check-in with the folks that are on Zoom to make sure that they're hearing you guys, number one. And also just, if I can ask if everybody can mute unless you're speaking, if you can mute, because there's a lot of noise coming in. So I just wanted to hear though from someone, can you tell me, can you guys hear?
Yes, the sound is a little bit, yeah. I need them a little bit, I cannot hear very well.
Okay.
It's difficult to understand.
Okay, we'll have people talk louder so that you guys can understand everything.
Can you give us a quick update, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Uh,
On the agenda, after your public comments.
But I just want to say, it's taken them over 3 years next to our church. It's almost killed our church. And I was just telling Mario, I had to make an illegal turn to get to my church to get to my parking because we can't even open our gates. So it's very, so I understand where you all are coming from, believe me. It really worries me. I used to bring the red car, when I visited my grandparents. So that tells you how many days I've been here.
Anybody
So
else?
is Teresa gonna,
Yes, there is one good.
and does anybody need translation? Okay.
No, okay.
For those of you, this is Ilya from OCTA, she's part of our reverse outreach. She's the project as well. So in terms of construction, so what is happening now is they have pulled the rail on Southwood Park, and it's now been placed on what we call LCD or lean concrete base. And so beginning next week, you'll see the rail team come in. There will be some evening work that's associated with it. They now have to come in and set all of the rebar in place. Will set the rail, and then they'll begin doing concrete pours to firm and to establish the top of the rail so they can pour the concrete and the asphalt. So in some sections, for example, up on French Street, they've already poured the curb. So you see the curb line on. Pardon?
I'm sorry? Maria?
Okay. So you can see up at French, between French and a couple of platforms that have been set. I understand. And so the other thing that will be happening, kind of coming up, I think we talked before about, the first thing that they have to do is clear the utility conflicts that were identified. So one thing that was discovered was abandoned gas lines that's underneath the roadway when we pulled up the area that had the hidden parking. And so the gas company now will have to come back in and remove those. So beginning on the 28th, there's a couple of locations that are outside of the current area that's opened up for construction down between Birch and Moss, and we will provide notification to those. That's some. But as I said, for the next month or so, you'll see the work going on to set it up.
Can I ask a question? Again, probably has many times, but obviously one of the ways like today try to look at the process would be if there would be some kind of evening hours or overnight hours, things like that. I know that I had a couple of friends of mine that, work on how we make those systems. They usually, instead of doing the work during the day, they do some of the work and then they do that, and evening as well. Can we promote that a little bit more?
Well, so this is such a constrained area that it's difficult to get multiple disciplines in the same location. There just isn't enough room for everybody to be working at the same time. What we are exploring with the contractor are extending some of those hours of work and exploring Saturday work hours as well. And like I said, the rail team, they will work. It's not that it's 24 hours, but some of the activities that they have to be done at night because of the material in the rail. In order to set it, you get fluctuations in temperature throughout the day, and that causes that material to contract and expand. And so they have to set the rail at a certain temperature, and so there will be night work coming up over the next month.
What is it that, again, not talking about those services, but your department, OCTA, I've been a member of the advisory committee as well for several years, but is there any way possible that we can promote maybe a one-page flyer to the real estate, to the commercial community, and that impacts, what's going on, maybe once a week, so they know what to expect next week, so they know what to tell their clients, so they know, how it's going to take to get something done. Can we do that, or do that?
We send out on every other week email. There's an update to everyone. So I hear what you're saying, and I will go back to the team and we'll try to problem solve. The challenge that we have is predicting exactly what's coming. And what we have found is that the activities are not necessarily as consistently reliable from the contractor's perspective in terms of what they will be doing and won't be doing. So for example, 2 weeks ago, I was told that they would be finishing up the pavers on the northwest corner of Spurgeon and 4th. So right there as you come out of Fiesta Marketplace. So we were told on March 15th, they're gonna have the pavers done, the first corner. Yesterday, we got told, or the day before, that work now is put off for 2 weeks. So it's just challenging, and I hate to tell people something and that they count on, and then it's not reliable. So to the extent that I can identify activities that I am confident will be done, I'll be happy.
Let me recommend something, somebody else, please feel free to take whatever. In addition to the email that you send me, there may be many members of our community, locally, that do not have email or do not have access to email. So if we can really this to a one-page flyer, be distributed, store by store, I think that would be very, very helpful. The more we know about what's going on, even if it's has to be delayed a little bit, I think the better our community is, because then we can tell our clients, we can tell the public, well, don't show up on this day or don't show up that day, or wait for you at this hour or that hour. So
I know our team is out a couple times a week, going door to door and talking to people and telling them what's coming up, rather than doing it by flyer. We're kind of walking and talking to people, because I think we're finding too, we've provided many flyers over the course of the year, and then people say they don't know anything that's happening. So we're now having conversations with people that we can, document that we've had.
and at some point, again, Mr. President, I don't want to go, but if at some point you can say in a footnote or above, whatever, this step is recommended by this organization, so they know that we're pushing in a certain direction. Because I was told a couple of times, oh, what are you guys doing? Okay, you guys not representing our interests, or you're not, doing what you need to do. So I think it's important for them to know that, the leaders, Raul and the others, are involved in this thing on a daily basis, but they may not know So we, not necessarily the credit, but just to keep them informed that this organization's leadership is taking a certain role and leadership and advocacy on behalf of the ownership community.
We are doing it, but every time we go, we pass in flyers, just like Teresa said. We go there, they're busy, they don't have time to look at the flyer or any information that we, so it's been always like that, and it's very hard to work with some of the businesses in the downtown, very hard. And that's what we have going on.
Teresa, how are you, I think too, it's so good to keep the picture, so are we on schedule? Are you a little ahead of schedule? Ahead of schedule, so I mean,
We are in
on the board street. No, and I think it's keeping big picture, because I think sometimes, what I was telling Teresa is that there's intractable problems, like it seems like with homelessness, right? It's a problem that's gonna be ongoing, it doesn't go away. This is a short-term problem in the scheme of things, and we need to keep spirits up. And if we're ahead of schedule, that's really good news, and that means that all the pushing has been, well, I know, for your church.
For our church, I mean, when are they ever gonna finish it, for crying out loud, that's all they have to do, of course, the event.
So the problem with switching the traffic and opening the area up on Santa Ana Boulevard is related to some technical issues related for the traffic signals. And I know that sounds like a silly thing that should be delaying all of this, but until we can't close Main and Broadway currently because of.
Well, I don't expect them, why can't they keep and speed it down Santa Ana Boulevard, and that's all they need to do. I mean, I understand, but you know what, after 3 years of this, and after you thank God, we have to illegally turn one officer to get into our parking lot.
We are, looking to push the contractor to finish up the areas at the locations that will allow us to make that traffic flip.
And I'm not
Because once they
blaming
do
you.
it, I understand, I appreciate that. It's frustrating for us, we're always kind of pushing, transition a little bit to some of the promotion that we spoke of before. So we are doing some traditional media, so we've got the ads running, quarter-page ads running in the Excelsior, both for the Orange County Market, LA Market, and Inland Empire. And those are just, it says, downtown is open, all businesses, and giving them the locations of the parking structures and, promoting the free parking. We're also running radio ads. We have reached out to Kid Wyndham. They're going to come down and do a remote downtown that will, on April 9th. We're still trying to determine, and you guys are a good group to ask. Do you think that we have two locations? One would be the Promenade, or do you think like Yost Theater type location, or is is it Calle Cuatro Park there at French and 4th Street a better location? What does this group? I get feedback for both locations, but since I'm here, I'll go ahead and ask.
I think the park would be good because it's a I think put camera power, you can see down the park, and you can see the business communities, across the way.
Okay.
Or behind it, that would be my opinion.
From Joe Spears,
The park, the 4th Street.
I thought 4th and French was the
Fourth and
better,
French.
location. But what do you guys think?
What do you think, Claudia? I think Claudia having the business right there. You may know.
Well, it is a good location, but what exactly are they doing? Are they going to small businesses? Are they?
No, so they do, the remotes that they do, so they invite people to come down and meet the staff.
The latter one, yeah, what do you think? I mean, we do that when the farmer's market was here, we used to do it every. Yes, okay, I think it will be a good location.
Okay.
Calle Cuatro Plaza. Now, if they can, I don't know the time frame they're gonna be here, but if they can move, and I know how hard it is to move their stuff and their canopy, but if they can also move to Sycamore for a little bit, even though between the trenches or whatever it is, this is I don't know, something making like a good thing happening with all the trenches coming. This is, I don't know, coming shop, between the trenches, the construction,
Okay.
come and see what's going on. Make it like a destination to see how the rails are lined out, highlight
Okay.
this amazing work that it is being done, but at the same time, come and shop and experience.
So give them a little, so script them as
Yes,
they're coming in, okay.
it's dusty, but it is fun.
Right.
And we're waiting for you, and,
Orange County's, it is exciting. I mean,
It
we're the
is
first
the
in Orange
first,
County to have this rail system.
I'm gonna say this, we opposed this for years and years, that, Teresa. We did, but now it's here, so there's no point going back. We need to make the best out of it. And yeah, it's like a campaign, like a dusty campaign for coming shopping and see what's going on. And this is exciting. This is the first transit system in Orange County. Come and see how it looks like and support the businesses at the same time. All that type of thing, right? Making it big, making it a good thing instead of a bad thing.
Make it positive.
Positive.
And the slide, have us look a couple of slides of the trolley with all finished, and how beautiful it's gonna look, the downtown, Santana downtown. Things like that.
But it is an experience, even for schools, for kids, for high schools, for colleges, to come and see the constructions firsthand. We, as a general people, we don't usually have the opportunity to see this because everybody's in their own area. And, but right here, we have it in front of us. So let's make the best out of it.
And show the construction, show the construction, all positive, nothing negative like some other people.
No, engineering wise, it's amazing. So,
I think that's a good idea.
I love it.
Is the city working very close to you guys?
In terms of, Julie, is, I think on camera there, Julie and I are talk to each other pretty frequently. So we provided the new updated free parking banners for the parking structures. There are 12 electronic signs of the traffic, what we call PCMS, for changeable message signs. We put them on 3rd and 5th Street to direct people and call attention to the parking structures. We have put 4 additional signs outside of the corridor. So there's one at Grand, there's 2 on Main, there's another one on Broadway that also sort of alerts people that although the street is closed, that the businesses are open. And again, locations of parking structures.
Julie, can you hear us?
Yes.
Julie, is there anything that you can recommend that this organization do with our city, to make sure that we move forward a little faster? Anything?
On the construction side?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's a fully packed question there. I have seen an increase of movement. I've actually even seen the crews on Saturdays. I come to downtown every Saturday. So, I think what Teresa is saying, there's some validity there, because it goes in sequence. They have to lay down the concrete, then they have to bring in the rails, then they have to, hammer them through. So it's just a matter of time. But if Teresa's saying they're ahead of time or ahead of schedule as of right now, then that's wonderful. And I think what Claudia said earlier was valid too. Like, let us know what's happening. Maybe that just helps us understand as a community, oh, they're doing the ADA ramps and things like that. But on the city side, what council has been pressing for is either, more shifts and things of that nature, but that comes with a cost, and this project is already very expensive. So what we have been doing is working directly with OCTA on signage, marketing, promotions, videos. Yesterday we had Telemundo in downtown, and we had a 6 o'clock news clip that basically said, come to downtown, we need your support, things like that. And we're going to continue with those efforts, radio, TV, social media. The city's been pushing out a lot of social media. And we're going to also consider doing other things like pop-up events and taking it back old school, Alfredo, like what you said, the flyers, the old school, you know, just pass out the flyers. So we're considering that too, and we're working on that. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. So since you mentioned that we're ahead of schedule on the timeline, by how much are we ahead
I
of
knew
schedule?
someone was gonna ask.
I'm not gonna hold you to it. Everything's fluid. It can change. The second follow-up question is, Lost Construction is suing OCTA.
Yes.
My question to you is, what is the impact of that lawsuit on the construction schedule? Will it delay it, slow it down? Will it stop it? What do you
So,
think?
because it is a lawsuit, I can't comment on anything related to the lawsuit. That's just standard operating procedures for anybody involved in the suit. Can't say anything publicly about it. But just to let you know that the teams at OCTA, our construction management team and the contracting team, we are continuing to work together to advance the work as quickly as we can and finish the work as quickly as we can. We work closely with the city staff, with their team, to make sure that we're not, you know, because we need their help too on some of these traffic signal conversations and how we're clearing things and what we originally had designed maybe is not working in the real world because of the actual physical constraints once we get to the area. So we're, you know, they're re-engineering and redesigning elements of this project all the time. So this method that you see being used on 4th Street is not the same method. It is not the same depth of track bed that was done in earlier previous section. So it's like we're redesigning and we're fine tuning and we're learning as we go what the constraints are within Santa Ana. It's an old city, you know, city's a lot. But it continues to challenge us and we just continue to have to kind of work through the problems.
So
I just wanted to
I don't know
say-
if you answered this question now, but how much advance are we every year? What is?
You know, if I told you we're a week ahead of schedule, tomorrow we could be a week behind schedule. If some material doesn't come up, if they set the concrete and then they go and they measure it and either it didn't set right or it's not, you know, 1,000 things can happen between now and when we think we're going to be finished. So it would be difficult to say exactly how far ahead, but we are a little ahead right
What
now.
about, I'm sorry, let me just finish this one. I apologize. The 4th Street between Main and Broadway, the two blocks. My understanding is that the original time plan was to be for a year.
Yes,
Now, I hear, now, I don't know, you
I think we'll
confirm
be
it
done before the end of the year.
before the end of the year, so.
Correct, yeah, let me also qualify when I say done, okay? Because what we're talking about now is the track installation, the curb and gutter work, and having the road asphalted and being able to drive on it. So what won't be done and what we will have to come back, not necessarily with full detours and closures as we have now, but instead we'll do work under what's referred to as the watch manual. So they'll come up, they'll set up an area to work during the time that they're there, and then they'll pull it back up again. So it won't be all of these detours and road closures.
So before the end of the year.
Yes, but so they'll have to come back in and they'll have to install elements on the platforms themselves. So there's these large canopies that have to come in.
I think that's good news. Have we distributed that? We have announced that to our
Well,
commercial.
we need approval from the city that will require us to work perhaps through the moratorium in order to get that done. So it's not a thing that is, I can say it's not a done deal yet, but it's something that we're working towards. So we're trying to get finished these elements of the track. Again, I want to be clear and use, we're developing some message points that we want to make sure that we're not setting the right, that we're setting the right expectations.
Let me
Because
ask
what I don't want to
you,
say we're done, and then they come back and they go, you thought it was super good.
let me ask you a stupid question, and I hope you don't
No,
mind.
stupid
No, no,
questions.
please, don't take this personal. Is any way possible that at some point, maybe we have, invite your executive director, whatever the term is, executive director, or that he could come and meet with us, like you're meeting with us today, and have him or her hear the concerns and essentially making sure that he or she knows how important this is and how much we like to push to get this thing done. And maybe he or she can give us some additional information, or maybe make a commitment or certain things. I don't know.
I will never say never. We certainly take that invitation back to him. We had a meeting with him yesterday. There's no message that I'm giving you that he wouldn't be repeating. I mean, I get some of my information is bottom up from the contractor and the kind of the teams working here, and other information that I bring to this group is from the top down. So I want you to know that, and our board of directors is concerned about the project for a number of reasons, that nobody wants to be in and out of here faster than OCTA.
I just want to say, there was a very good lengthy article in the Register a couple of days ago, and it really gave a lot of information, but thank you for helping the Register put that together and so forth. Thank you. I don't know if y'all read it or even knew it was in the Register.
Teresa, am I right? Okay, so we're talking the end of the year for all of 4th Street, because aren't we working in 2 block segments, or are you talking end of the year for just?
No,
the parts?
for both segments. So what we want to be finished here. The original was 6 months for each.
Okay.
For each phase.
So really, this part of our little construction zone will likely, if on schedule, September-ish? I mean, or- yeah, okay,
Yeah, maybe before that.
okay.
I mean, it's frustrating to be at a church, all your cotton picking one, you can't even get to it.
Yeah, Mr. President, would it be possible, would you have an objection if we can request Trista to communicate with the executive director about a possible invitation to our next meeting? With the OCPA executive director? Yes, you can come and listen to us for maybe 5-10 minutes.
And if Darryl can't come, then maybe I can invite Jim Beal, who's the executive director of capital projects. So he met with a small group of business owners who joined us last week. So we can have, I think I can keep having somebody from executive staff here.
I think it's
I
important.
can't speak for Darryl's calendar, certainly,
Okay.
but I think I can.
Would that be any?
I'm okay with that. But one thing that I have learned since the beginning is that the best source of information from the OCPA.
No, I understand.
is Teresa, yeah.
But given the circumstances, I want to make sure that they hear and that they see our concern and advocacy as well as the need. Because, I've been in this business for a long time. I mean, you can take information this level, that level, or this level. So we gotta make sure that they understand how concerned we are and.
That message has been received loud and clear.
I understand that, but I want to make sure that I personally can see that person basically. And maybe they feel the same way. So if you could request either of them to both of them to appear.
Would that be for the next meeting?
I don't speak for Daryl's calendar.
Then you'll
I don't speak for
communicate with me.
Jim's either. Jim will be an easier calendar to clear than Mr. Johnson's. But I will be happy to transmit that
Thank you.
request.
What is the original date of completion for this section I just read?
For the full 4th Street, when they started, I was told it would take a year to do, going from Mortimer to all the way down to Ross. So this first phase of 4 blocks is expected to go till September. And then they will start the next set of work. So the challenge is if they start the next set of work, again, that's expected to be a 6-month window. What can we do to shorten that? Because then that puts the contractor right in the middle of the moratorium, which begins on Thanksgiving. So what we're trying to do is get this work for this first phase done as quickly as we can. That gives us a little more confidence that we can get the work done and not dip into the moratorium too much. So we have to obviously confer with the businesses that would be affected by possible moratorium work. So that would be anybody between Main and Bush, and then down Broadway to Ross Street.
You do wonder, and I think it's important that we do get a read on the businesses, because we could finish up in September, have you work elsewhere, and then you come back in January for another tranche where we have a 4-month breather from all construction. Or is it better to just push and get it done so that then you're just out of the downtown? And I'm not a business on 4th Street, so I don't know what would be preferred, but you wonder if having the break for a 6-month period might be preferable for the businesses, so they can.
And there is
regroup.
business in here, and there's people also here, and I know that there's a couple questions really quick because, and I also got to witness everybody at City Hall. So just really quickly, because there are a couple things, and I know that you have a couple questions from folks, and Delilah, I don't know if you have anything. Okay, but do you want to ask Maria?
Yeah, sorry, Teresa. So just some feedback from like personal friends and also from, business owners. The signs for the parking signs, they kind of like blend in or they're too small. I don't know if you can give some feedback. The text is too small, or people are passing by so fast. If they can shorten it, like park here, or something brighter, like they blend in, or they're on the side of the building, not facing the street. So you could see people just walking on the streets, just getting lost where to park. I don't know, that's some feedback to your team you can provide.
I think that's a good comment, probably, the more visible they are.
And we did see a series of things that came in from Julie, where she had asked about the design of the thing that said the shops are open. And what I noticed right away was that it was in blue and yellow, and the yellow highlighted OCTA, while the part that was blue is the part that said that the businesses are open. And for us, OCTA should minimize its thing, and the thing that says businesses are open should be in yellow and bright. And it really should be about the businesses being open in the signage. So that was something that was a feedback that we shared after the board all looked at the document, and I sent that feedback to Julie, but I'm not positive if that's going to be implemented or what. But there's like a lot of little things about the way that people are visibly seeing things. And I've noticed all the signs also are very, I don't know if they're dusty or if they just are not bright, and they're not, I don't know. Everything doesn't feel like as big and as bright. Like we could create banners that are better, and maybe our team can work to help make better, brighter banners that are saying the things that we want to say.
Well, I think the funding that we provided to you all could be used for that purpose if you like. If you want to create your own banners, that's certainly something, and find a place for, where you'd like to put them. We would never preclude you. I mean, we have really had a hands-off approach as to what you use your funding for. We have taken the comments about the branding, and we have a new template that's a reduced focus or reduced acknowledgement of OCTA as the kind of the person that's building this. We came down here 2 years ago, I think, and did the sewer work. And we had signs from the contractor that were very plain and said all businesses open. And the criticism that came to us then was these signs are too plain. You're not taking responsibility that this is your project. It should be more colorful. So we did that, and now it's kind of turning around. Now you want us, the signs to be plainer, and I get it. So we have a revised template. So Ilya and I are going to be out with the wayfinding signage that we put. I put 4 of them out on Wednesday evening. So it's just a white banner. It's got some OCTA information on the bottom, and then all of the businesses in black. So we just talked with, as I said before, meet with Daryl. We're also going to revise the businesses are open signage. We'll have 3. I'm also kind of a little constrained by the size of the crowd fencing panels. So we're going to have a 3-panel sign that says, one says all businesses open in English, and then same thing in Spanish. And the only thing that it's about this much of it says OCTA with the project, follow us some places and the logos of our funding partners. So we've heard that we got that feedback. We are making that adjustment. Unfortunately, that adjustment did not come before we already produced the new signs for the parking structure. And we also have other signs that are going, I think there's maybe a half a dozen or so locations around the city where they have fencing. I can't put something on private property. So we have to do it where there's opportunities that the city has for. So we've provided additional banners to the city there. We are designing the marquees, so the city has access to some marquee ads. We are going back, and we've gotten images from some of the businesses as part of the Eat Shop Play program. And when we develop the marquees, then we're told, well, okay, but that's not the image we want anymore. Can you give us a different picture? So all of these things, in an effort to tailor and to suit everyone, it just slows everything down. And that's okay. We're happy to work with everyone and fine tune it to get it exactly the way they want it. But that means I can't turn around things as quickly as I would like to.
We have a sample of the signs for, when you want to see it.
Sure, let me show you my phone.
Can I chime in for just 1 second? I agree with the feedback that should be more bold and in your face and kind of more obvious, very like simple, layman's terms. But when we do push things out, like when I get information from OCTA and then I turn it around and I send it to Santa Ana Business Council or Downtown Inc., if you guys could respond a little bit faster, that would be appreciated. Otherwise, it does get slowed down a little bit more.
The thing is, I think that turnaround was like a week, and in order for the whole board to have a chance to look at documents, at least we need to know when our deadline is, because everybody's doing a lot of things. So
can the board designate someone in the team like you or Maria, someone that has that marketing edge or look that can respond quickly? Because if we turned it around and asked our city council for review, it would be the same thing. It would take a long time. So maybe it would be more effective to identify a key person.
Yeah, and another thing that we can do.
That question was for the board.
Well, I just wanted to add something we can preemptively do is actually create a series of types of signs. Like I've seen better signage at the mall that's getting people out of COVID that says the businesses are open than I've seen ever come out or be produced by UNOCTA. So I'm really sorry, but
when can you send that over?
I'm saying in terms of marketing,
people that businesses are open as well as electronic signage.
right? I see that, but I'm saying what I'm trying to say is the facing of a person who's coming into downtown. I don't see any kind of a visible marketing image that really showcases that our businesses are in need of people to really come into them. And you heard people crying at City Hall because they're thinking that their businesses are going to be shutting down. And all I'm saying is we can do a little bit better on making public marketing that looks like that looks as at least as inviting as what the mall has. in all of these.
Agree with you,
cases-
Madeline. I agree with you, and please send that over as soon as possible.
My suggestion, Mr. President, is that I think Julie's suggestion is a good one. Why don't you appoint a couple of people that will represent the board and and Julie and the city and OCTA can work with, so we can provide some direct hands-on suggestions and input to those signs. I think that's a good suggestion.
It is, I think Magdalena would be the key person, and then she can get it from us.
Okay, so then Magdalena and you as our president.
But they have a good sign just south of 17 saying that all businesses are open, park on Third.
But listen to what she's saying. She says,
You can't, I'm sure because of the mall, you can't go on the other side.
Julie, did you hear that? We're gonna have two people from the board
Designated.
designated to work with you on a short time frame, and also to provide our input as the kind of the signs and the language that we need to do. You do that?
And who would that be?
Madeline and Raul.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your
Thank
suggestion.
you, Julie. Any more questions for Chris?
So this would be the reduced sort of, you have no ones after now, the picture, and all this other stuff. So, and don't pay attention to this. But all of this white real estate now will just have one word on it. It's like all, the next one will say businesses, the next one will say. So that's the green. So this is just sort of the revised one. You can take a look at the ones that are out there now. So it would just be a much smaller, sorry, template. So this would be more real estate, sure. More
Okay,
real
does
estate.
anybody have any more questions for Chris? No?
Thank you, Tristan. Well, sorry that,
Thank you.
I hope don't take it personal. We love to have you here.
No,
You got a
you
great-
know,
great,
I think if
great
Madeline
member.
has some ideas about what she wants to see designed, then please feel free to share them, and we'll take them back for consideration.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Susan. I don't have any reports, Claudia. Okay, let's move on. Julie, you're next. Thank you, Julie.
Julie, you're up. Oh, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Julie.
All right. Sorry about that. I'm processing business grants, a lot of them. I'm very happy about the progress. So it's been, 12 days, 12 business days since the $1.5 million got approved by the Santa Ana City Council, thanks to them. A lot of businesses will get up to $10,000. And I just want to refresh your guys' memory on the guidelines for the business grant. So it's up to $10,000 for businesses that are directly impacted by the construction. There is a site plan that shows which businesses are directly impacted. So, and then for the businesses that are like on the north or south streets, like French, Bush, Sycamore, Birch, they have to be within 100 feet of 4th Street in order to qualify for the grant. The push carts are included in the grant, and most of them have applied. We've received over 100 applications, and about 61 have been approved. And 5 got paid today, or will get paid today. Another, I don't know, several, maybe, 20, 30, 40 will get paid next Friday. And then I'm working really hard to get them all streamlined through the process. So I'm happy to report that. And I'm going to continue working today and Saturday and Sunday so that we can push as many out as possible. And at this point, I'm trying to remember what my items were for today. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the agenda.
Any comments on the parking structures?
What was that, Alfredo?
And any comments or updates on the parking structures?
Yes. Parking structures, as you guys all know, are free parking Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we also offer 2 hours free parking in the evenings and on the weekends. And we did have a little surplus in revenue on January 31st, which was really nice to see. It was all the special events and all the revenue that was coming in. You know, the economy was getting back on its feet. And then we started offering free parking February 14th on Valentine's Day. So I anticipate that fund to decline tremendously. And so, you know, I'm not in panic because this is a initiative that the city council decided based on the feedback from the merchants. And at the end of the year, you know, as a community, we'll have to identify funds to make our account even and not in the negative. So we'll have to get, you know, really, really conservative with spending again, which means that merchant fund is probably not going to be on the table through parking revenue because the money just won't be there. But at minimum, we're providing a direct benefit to the community and offering free parking. And also we've decreased parking enforcement. You may have noticed that. And every single day I go through downtown and I ask the contractors to not park in the small amount of spaces that are available for the businesses and the metered stalls. We've hired a full-time painter to paint and remove the graffiti every single day. It's an ongoing issue. It's graffiti, it's downtown, it's not gonna go away. So we've just designated to hire a full-time painter to help mitigate that as much as possible. As you guys know, we have 24/7 security guards now in the structures, and that's been working well. If you guys see them, you know, kind of lounging or not doing what they're supposed to do, please tell me right away. Send me a text. And yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want you to know that I think all of us that are here are very, very happy with the small business grants. Thank you so very much. Please share with the city council, the mayor, that we're very happy and that we're hoping that we can expand those as we need and that we continue keeping those opportunities open for some either an enhancement of the grant or maybe a new members of the community that wish to apply. Thank you so very much, okay?
I actually want to ask the board for your help because we've received over 100 applications, but that will only account so far what we have paid out or total potentially paid out is probably $500,000. So that means that we still have $1 million available. And what I'm seeing is that people are not applying anymore. I might get one a week, you know, it's only been 12 business days, but when I first pushed this out, I got hundreds or many. Now I don't see it. So I would like to ask the Santa Ana Business Council to assist in pushing this grant out because I'm sure there's people that will benefit from this. And your help in pushing this out will be very, very helpful. This is part of your role is to push these programs out.
Julie, are you talking about the funding that's directly for the direct impact, or are you talking
business
about
grant.
Just the business grant?
The business grant, yes. I need your help in motivating and encouraging people to submit applications.
There are a lot of businesses that have been another whole group of businesses on the outskirts like 5th Street that have gotten impacted, and many people are asking me like, because they feel that they also been impacted, not in the direct way that the construction being there, but because of parking situations and others, and they feel neglected. And they said that people have told me they've spoken to you and you said they don't qualify for the grant that's coming right now from the city. But what I'm wondering is like, how does this other group of people who are on the fringes of the thing, but still being impacted, get help? Because
let me answer that.
For them, it feels very inequitable, just so everybody who is here just knows that fact, because it's just another group of people. There's like about 180 to 100 people who have been really being vocal. And then there's people who are also affected by all of the same things, which is COVID, construction, etc., but they're not able to have any access.
No problem. Let me answer that. So right now, the priority is the businesses that have construction right in front of them. There's no doubt that that has to be the priority. It doesn't, the council was clear. Let's give the grants to the people that have construction right in front of them. That's the priority. Later, if the community so desires to take it back to the council to amend the program guidelines to expand the footprint, then that's absolutely possible. And with your guys' advocacy or your representation on behalf of the businesses, by all means. And I think that that's already happening. Just to give you, an update, that Councilmember Hernandez and a few others have asked staff to revisit the program guidelines to see how we can include more businesses. So that's already in the works. Nevertheless, the priority is the businesses that have the construction right in front of them. And the other part is that 1.5 million, we also have to carve out some funding from there for the businesses that will be impacted in the future, right? The ones that don't have construction right in front of them now. So we want to be mindful of those businesses as well. We don't want to deplete all the money all at once. But regardless, I don't see the businesses coming in a flurry anymore, which it takes me back to my request to the board that we assist in pushing this out, because I'm sure there's many more businesses on 4th Street that have construction right in front of them that have not submitted an application. I've personally gone door to door. I've asked the business groups, the businesses to help me distribute door to door. We're pushing it out on social media, and I'm asking OCTA also to assist. So I've done quite a bit, but it makes a bigger difference when you know a business and you say, come on, apply, let me show you. It's really easy. The application is available online. I've emailed it to you guys. Madeline, I hope that you forwarded it to your board. Raul, I also forwarded it to you. And all they have to do is fill it out and send it to me via email, and I turn it around pretty quickly. So just to keep going, unless you all have questions, I know I try to be brief with you with my updates.
You have a comment?
Yes.
Why don't you do another grant in 4 or 6 months?
It was hard to hear. What was that, Raul?
Why don't you do another grant in 4 or 6 months?
I'm sorry. I had to just say that.
I think this grant is ongoing. There's no real deadline at this point. It's probably going to end when the money is gone.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna move on to special events. We continue to have special events in the downtown, which is amazing. And I'm so glad that people still wanna come and have special events. For some of the last special event that we had with the OC Vegan Fest, there was a big congestion in the parking structure because we didn't do prepay at the entry, which meant that everybody has to pull out their ATM, get their ticket, pay, and it just takes a long time, and it backlogs the traffic flow in the structures, and people get very upset about that. So for Patches and Pins this Saturday, we are going to have a two-way system, which is, hi, are you here for the event? Great, it's $5 for all-day parking. If they don't pay the $5 up front, then they'll get charged $10. So it's cheaper to pay the $5 up front. And if they say, no, I'm not here for the event, I'm here to go pick something up from Alta Baja, then they can just get a regular ticket and they'll get the 2-hour grace period. So please help me spread that information. Madeline, you're always so, you always have great feedback about how to communicate that and market that information. If I can request your assistance in developing some sort of social media or something, that would be very helpful. So that way people know that they have two options. And then that will help avoid the traffic congestion at the end of the night, because it gets pretty bad and people get upset.
You're talking about this Saturday's events, right?
Tomorrow, yes.
Oh, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, it is pretty fast.
Thank you, Julie.
And the last thing is, so I don't know if that was a yes, Madeline, but it would be very helpful to get that information out. I think that's something that you guys have critiqued me on before, and so I'm now asking for your assistance in, just a plain social media, something that says you have two choices, and it's only for one parking garage for Fiesta.
Will we make a social media post, Julie, around what you're talking, if you wouldn't mind just sending me those details again, so that I make sure that I'm accurate. But I just want to let you know that within a 1-day period, any social media, it's not enough time for people to really get that message.
And I'll also tell the business owners through the WhatsApp app. So that way at least they can tell their customers and we'll get better about this. It's just that I just barely got approval for the prepay last night. So we work as fast as we possibly can. I didn't want it to be a disaster in the structure tomorrow night, because that would have been another, bad story and bad feeling for our patrons that are coming to downtown. So I'll send you that information, Madeline. I appreciate it. Lastly,
oh, sorry, Marie wanted to ask a question.
Sorry, because it's also Vegan Fest.
It's on the other side, and that one's at the 2nd Street Promenade, and that parking structure. We're not anticipating anything too crazy. Their event is a little lighter attended, and I didn't want to have prepay at 2 structures. I only wanted to have it at 1. Otherwise, people would get really upset. I'm doomed if I do, I'm doomed if I don't. So I was trying to mitigate the one that would have the bigger crowd.
Okay, is that it, Julie?
Last thing is that we have a new corporal. I'm not sure if he was able to make it on today, but Corporal Mario Lopez is, oh, there you are. I'll segue to you, Corporal.
Actually, Raul introduced me at the start of the meeting, so I'll say.
Oh, I apologize for missing that. That's it for me, Raul. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is that it, Julie? Okay, thank you.
Just one more thing. So, the agreements that we have with the 2 associations have are getting greater scrutiny from our board of directors now. More attention's been called to them from the community. So we're going back and we've got some reporting that we have to do out. We have 3 files that are either missing or corrupted in our system. So I'm not saying that I never got them, but if you could resend them to me, and those are the 3 reports that I would need some help with. And if I could get those from you guys today or by Monday morning, I have some reporting that I need to do internally and up through the chain.
And Teresa, I just want to mention one thing when you're speaking to your folks, because there's something that really does need to be taken into account, because, and I just want to say that of course, none of us expected COVID, and we didn't expect our merchant fund to go away. And something that has happened, like because of the merchant fund going away, is kind of this de facto thing where funding that was supposed to be on top of our normal baseline of funding was supposed to help do this extensive outreach to this community around all of the issues with construction and everything, including extra things, but nothing has been extra because we lost our merchant fund. So we've been maintaining a baseline, even though we have this amazing opportunity, and because it's the same amount of money that we literally have usually had to work with. So we've had part of our funding taken away, and we've had part of this funding brought in. And I don't think it has been above and beyond in the way that you would think if there was no COVID and if the full funding for our organizations were there, and with the funding from OCTA. And I just wanted to say that for the public record, because I really don't think people understand that we have literally been working with the exact same amount of money that we've always had. We didn't have what seems like extra funding in this downtown from OCTA, even though it was an advertising budget that is specifically around this topic of the streetcar.
Which we thank you a lot for.
Yes.
And I understand what your challenges have been, but the funding that we provided you was for a specific purpose.
And it has been used for that.
Yeah, regardless of where your other funding came from.
Right, sure.
So again, I've been in some ways, I just want you to understand that if we give that explanation to our board of directors, because they gave the money for a specific purpose,
right,
they may not necessarily agree with that interpretation. Because
okay,
if they're going to look at this and say, that's, the agreement was that this was not to backfill any other funding sources. It was for these specific purposes. They will, because now I've been asked for that there'll be an audit on this.
Just so you know, we never did backfill. We followed your guidelines.
And that's fine, then there's no problem.
But what it
So-
looks like externally is that nothing extra was done.
Right.
And that's because nothing extra, even though those were new programs and things that you described, they all went into a period of time, which was COVID, things that we would never have dreamed of ever normally using the funding for, which is like online program, all these kinds of different things that are not the norm for us. It would have been completely different.
Right, and like I said before, I've been very hands-off.
Yeah.
In directing what you guys do with the money. We gave the money to you with certain parameters involved, and as long as everybody's taking those parameters, then I'm not concerned about any of it.
Yeah, and I just want those extenuating circumstances to be understood so that they are actually taken into consideration, because every grant that we received outside of yours,
Right.
they all understood that
And
COVID
for
happened.
you, those extenuating circumstances speak in your favor. I'm not sure our board of directors will have that same feeling about it.
Okay.
So.
one thing,
As
just,
long as I'm not acute, and I certainly do not think that anything untoward has happened with any of the funding.
well,
That is not the purpose of any of my comments here.
and clarification, just from my vantage point as a board member, is that you made it clear that it had to go for marketing of, with the streetcar coming, and we were always clear about the fact that those funds had to be for marketing, and those funds
We're spent that way.
were used
Yeah,
for
and I don't have
marketing,
any,
so.
like I said, if I thought that there had been something unusual happening, I would have made comment on it. I have made comment on other funding programs that we're associated with. So, yeah, we're fine. I'm trying to be transparent with you all too.
Absolutely.
Understanding the questions that staff, me, is getting asked at our board, because they're hearing from community, just as you all are hearing, that, people are getting accused of all kinds of things.
Mhm.
And so I need to show in black and white
Yes.
what the funding was used for. And I don't anticipate there being.
And we understand that, and we understand the pain that all of these businesses are going through and their anger, and that's very legitimate, and
I think there was misunderstanding that when OCTA provided the funding to the associations, I think there was misunderstanding on some of the independent, I'll just say the independent group that don't align themselves with either association, that funding somehow was going directly to certain merchants. We all know that's not the case.
No.
It really has to be a global effort to bring people to the downtown and to market this area. But I think unfortunately that message or that assumption is kind of implanted itself with some people. And it's very difficult, as you know, once people have made an assumption, it's kind of baked in now. And all of us are trying to unwind that and to provide the explanation or the definition of what we mean when we say marketing, et cetera.
yes, and as you said, it is for marketing the whole downtown as a whole. We cannot market any business in particular, because then we would have to market all the 600 businesses in the downtown, in the district. And we work for a district, and it is several blocks, it's not only 4 streets. So for us, it's always the thought process of what do we do? It's a whole district. We cannot just focus on 4th Street or just a section of businesses from here to here. So it's global, and we understand that. And I understand that most people, and the
Right,
people
you're
are
trying to
more
bring people to
affected.
the downtown just in general. And I know that there's, we hear it from all sides. Well, the people that are coming are not the people that are shopping in my store, or it's creating other problems, like, Julie was saying, the parking structures. So it's more than one thing.
Oh, yeah.
And something that you think is good to bring people downtown, somebody else may not agree. So there's a lot of.
It's always gonna like that.
Yeah,
It's
you can't
no,
please everybody.
no, you can't.
And we have
I
no
understand.
worries about all those things that have been said by people. You get information, you need clarification about how the money, it's been spent, we have been giving you
Yes,
all that.
absolutely. Like I said, I think it's the form that the file came to us, we go to open it and we just can't open it. I don't know if it's an MIS thing within our own system, but I know if you send it to me again, we can print it out and then scan it. So,
Yes, we'll do that. Is it okay? Robin has to leave really quick, so can we do that one report before she goes? I think that's it's the next one on the agenda.
We'll take care of whatever you're asking. Just-
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
so let's move to Magdalena.
Okay, so just as a start, I just wanted to say
Can you take your thing down so that
Sorry.
I understand you better?
Sorry, I apologize. We completed Boca de Oro Festival this year. And it's still happening for us because behind the scenes, there's a lot of things that we need to continue completing before it's completely wrapped up. But just from the being the first citywide again event since COVID, it's very exciting. And I just wanted to let Robin give some reports, because this is like one of those really positive stories.
Yeah, so I think Boca de Oro was very successful in bringing families and students and community, the SAUSD community downtown, and helping us to dust off the mourning and the losses and the ashes of all the things that we've suffered through. So our families, our superintendent, our school board members, city council members came. We had the youth commission. We had 700 student performers or people that were part of giving and sharing. That doesn't include all the participants that showed up despite even the conditions. So it was a very beautiful return, and we look forward to continuing to refine and engaging our school community. Our district is finally very entrenched 6 years in. Boca de Oro is a staple in SAUSD. So we plan to continue this. It's sustainable from our point of view, from what we're doing internally, to continue to collaborate with our community and bring our students and families down to celebrate in and through the arts. And thanks to all of you for the support and collaboration and connection for making that possible.
And I just wanted to read one post that really touched my heart. And it's just because, and it's more, I know that besides having youth here, we also had a lot of keynote special guests. We had our first author, born and raised in Santa Ana, be able to talk about a book that's just about to come out. We also had even Delilah, her own book. She was able to do a workshop around a book that she's published recently in this past year, which is amazing. So the books and the publishing and the things are coming from all corners. We had a teacher who was celebrated, who's gotten multiple prizes now. The Bella, what is it called? Bella Pura Prize is one of the things, and he's one of the newest people. But the thing is, this young girl is one of the speech and debate students, and her family said, this weekend, my Desi participated in Boca de Oro. I present this piece to present a piece that she's been competing with this year. And she said, it did not disappoint. I thought she was the only one I thought that I was the only one with tears in my eyes when I saw her in the essence, but most people in the theater had tears in their eyes. We are all proud of my girl. Keep shining like the brightest star that you are. Thank you. Thank you everyone who came to support my daughter. It meant so much to me and her. And my father came from Van Nuys. His teachers from second grade with his current degree, Rosie Salas Manas, thank you from your family. And then there's photos of people coming from all over to witness and see what's amazing about people in this community and what they're having. Your own personal hero in your own city is something that is just irreplaceable. And this community is starting to see themselves. They're starting to see how amazing they are. And that's what I think is the takeaway for me about Boca de Oro, that I just I just am very excited about. So
Yeah, it's a really beautiful pipeline. I want to tell you too, we support the dance, theater, music, visual, media arts, literary arts, and this year we had a culinary arts. We had our nutrition services come, and they were serving food in the community, and kids were participating in contests and other things. But to Madeline's point, our students are claiming their space. It reflects who they are. They are falling in love with the opportunity to be part of the arts community. They look forward to it. Our teachers are looking forward to it. It was something that brought great joy and anticipation since March of 2020, which was the last time we all really performed like that in the community. And it's not so much about the performances as much as it's about the communing. It's about the community witnessing our students, seeing who they are, watching them grow up and enjoy, and building pipelines, because they get to see other artists and participate in as coming just to partake of other artists too, right? It's a give and take thing. So despite all the challenges, it happened, and we're really grateful. It was a beautiful event. So thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
we also have the fortune, just one last thing is that Travel Santa Ana, we worked very closely, and they got a writer to write, like a travel writer to write about us. We had an artist from the UK who made it. We had 3 artists, only 2 of them's visas were able to come through. So it was our first exchange artist from outside coming. He produced, the UK artist produced a beautiful mural at the Blue Lot. And one of the things is we were able to get a hotel room at a reduced rate for these folks and try the whole system of the new Travel Santa Ana working with the hotels. And that was an amazing process to actually work out and see how it actually works and if we can bring guests in. So we're very excited about that. And she got Zydeco data and shows that it was one of the most, and I'll show you guys, I'll put it into our next report, but she shows that this and the zoo were the 2 top events that brought people into the city. So for that period of time between, she did like a week's data.
And it was really nice. The city started to repost our posts and endorse Boca de Oro, and that the council members showed up at various venues and spoke throughout, right? And they were there. So, and I think that was really the first time we had that much wide support from the city council. So thank you to them for showing up as well. And yeah, being there so people could see each other. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Great job.
Wait a minute.
Hello.
I know it affected all of you.
Hello.
Down at Santa Ana High.
Hello.
Just
Lockdown.
Oh,
Just a
Hello. Can I ask you, Tricia, one thing? And at 115, the West 4th Street, there's a window is broken. So what is an OC has responsible for that?
Oh, I know that was, you know what, Juancha, is it okay if we take that question at the end and we just keep running through, because I think that is really important, but can we take it in just a little while? We'll hold your question.
All right, thank you.
Oh, okay.
So here's what I can say about if, I want to be really clear, because I think my comments have been misunderstood. If there is physical damage as a result of the project, so for example, if one of their machines were to throw something out and it gets out of the project area and were to damage something, that is something that if you let me know, I will send you the information for Walsh's third claim insurer. And they process a claim and take it as an insurance claim. If, however, it is not the direct result of their work, an activity that they're doing, and if instead it's vandalism, no one is insured, or our insurance does not, or Walsh's insurance does not cover criminal acts. We're not, that's not something that So I don't make the decision on any of this. I just facilitate information. So if there is a physical damage claim that someone wants to make, let me know, and I will send them Walsh's information. Walsh has a claim form. I don't know what information they require on it. I'm not part of that process. I just facilitate putting you in touch and giving you the contact information. So I just want to be clear about that.
So she can give you one shot the information so that you can contact them directly.
Okay, thank you.
The next thing is we're gonna do program updates, and I'm gonna have some assistants here because we've been working on, we can start with Mario and he can tell us a little bit about what we've been working on and what's about to happen with the Kids Corner.
So we have some maps and some flyers coming around for the people up on Zoom. I don't know which camera is the one. There you go. We'll share that also on our media or social platform for you guys. So it was in the talks for a while about the kid-friendly initiative, and I know that the board was talking about it for a while. We started talking about this and working on it a couple of months back. And our first event is going to be at Calle Cuatro Plaza, which is going to be April 24th from noon to 4. And it's going to be focused not only directly on the family, but specifically on the kids, bringing families and kids specifically back to downtown Santa Ana. Bringing the kids or focusing on the kids, making it a fun place for them. We're also bringing the families and their friends to downtown Santa Ana. I know we have a great nightlife, which we talked about before, but this will really highlight on the families and the kids. So we're really excited about it. We have a lot of people participating. We have been, myself have been walking down the street with the partnering or the neighboring businesses, and most of them are already aware of it. Some of them are even participating in it, like La Michoacana, and we're getting
American
Barbershop, the street card vendor, Mr. Diablito. I know that's still pending, but we're waiting on that. And we have a lot of other organizations that are kid-friendly or family-oriented that are going to be taking a part of it and holding the booths, Worst House. So we have a map here, and we have the list of people that are going to be attending. We still have some booth space available, which obviously we have been working with this team, and you know, hopefully I don't miss anyone. Lonnie, Flor, Bethany, Keisha, Madeline, Maricela.
Which are part of Amigas, Mommies Unidas.
Yes.
So they are part of bigger networks of people that are actually working to bring youth and youth-friendly activities with us.
So this is the first event, and even though we are working with this group already, it's not limited to, so we would definitely, you know, if anybody else would like to participate, we'll gladly have you and welcome you to it. And if you want to participate for a specific date, we will try to accommodate you as best as possible. I still have to do some more walking next Wednesday to touch on the rest of the businesses that are directly next to the Calle Cuatro Plaza, and kind of get their information. We're also going to be getting some signatures. But with that also, just getting them more informed and then letting them know of our future events so that we can also continue to partner up with them to make this successful and continue to bring the families and the children to our downtown area. So we're really excited about it. We ask that you please help us in supporting it, promoting it. We'll get all the digital flyers out. And I know that right now down there, because of construction, and you know, it's a little hard to get around, but we're going to make the best of it. And I believe that we have over 50 families already who are who have this information and are already ready to participate. So we're looking forward to this event, like with a great excitement. And Julie, I wanted to talk to you since I'm going to be out there Wednesday walking the streets. I'm going to talk to President Raul and the board. And if that's something that I can do as I walk around and mention to the businesses about the grants, I'll gladly do that. I would love to be a part of that. Maybe I can get with you before that and get a list and a map of the people that qualified, or maybe even the people that, yes, and even the people that have already applied for it. So I'll do it again, but I would love to be a part of that and help that way. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we've already provided this to you guys electronically. I think we provided what we call e-toolkits to both associations. So that also includes like, a parking, you know, a graphic that shows all the different parking structures. In your social media, you may want to add information about free parking and the closest, but, you know, place to you. So for information about when 2 hours free, whatever it is. So again, you guys will be getting that information. So you don't have to provide it. And if you give us, you know, an electronic version of your flyer, we'll put it out there on social media too.
And also, just so folks know, Santa Ana Business Council did call a special meeting, and I know that wasn't reported out at the beginning, but it should be. But one of the things is we're going to create the newsletter to give to folks throughout the community as well. So this idea of putting together a packet sounds like a great thing. And then another programming update, and I just wanted to mention that we've had a lot of interesting openings of businesses in the midst of all of the things that are going on downtown. And one of those to start with is Bloom Studios, which we're very fond because Amiga Social Club is a professional development group of women. And now there's an actual physical space in downtown that has emerged through Lonnie, and I'll let you describe, tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Casa Bloom Studios is mainly a creative space and it's open to all, just not women, because I know a lot of people are used to Amiga seeing just women. The purpose of it is pretty much for a lot of our community, freelancer or artists to have a workspace to work at Monday through Friday, but we are open to any special events on the evenings or weekends if people want to hold a workshop or a class or want to launch something or want to make their business have a whole pop-up versus just going to the markets once a month. So it's kind of open for anybody to kind of create whatever they want.
And for me, it's very exciting because this is an example of when someone first starts with like a creative idea, builds a network of women, that this network is very strong. We know that another place, Corazon Coffee, is partnering with tons of amigas, and they're bringing, there's food and all different things being brought along with her coffee. So that's really exciting to start seeing how the network works. And another thing is Lucy's Pizzeria is another one that just opened on Spurgeon. The reopening of Detention, which I don't understand, but anyway, that's right there at the end where the playground was. We also have the Yost Theater under new management, and that's really interesting. People are excited because it is a Latino-owned business again, I guess, is what people are saying. And then there's a new skateboard shop that's at the back in the Yost Alley area. We see on First Street, there's a new business called DMX Music Center. We have Venus Repair. There's a whole bunch of new businesses also emerging in downtown. And we just got the updated bid list of who all of the businesses are, so that again, we can start to look at what's happened this year in terms of who's new and who has been here and how we can better serve everybody in the downtown. So I just wanted to mention that. We also have programming updates. One thing that I just want to put out there is there is an expansion of the number of like programming and events happening. And I had a meeting with Sonia and Timothy, who would like to be invited as well to be guests at the next meeting, to just talk to you and see and meet this board person to person, because I know I've been talking to them for over 2 years. I want to say, this is sad news, is that number one, because of the construction in downtown, the work that we've been trying to do to get a memorandum of understanding with Parks and Rec that became a joint use project has been denied. They have new ways that they want to move forward in terms of how they want to use the parks. They just fenced Birch Park, so they actually want to think of it more as a venue space now. The alcohol can be served inside of the park because of the closure, and they can turn it into a date night space and place for movies, kind of like Hollywood for other places. And they're going to start thinking of it more for venue, for weddings, for things like that, because there's a closed space. So that kind of changes like the trajectory, and they also want to start working on programming more. So instead of what the work for me is just making access to space very easy so that lots of different folks can program it. They are like, we don't want to just do programming for programming's sake, which that's never what we're doing, but essentially they'll be able to come in and tell you more, because I know we've been working on this for almost 3 years now. So so there's a little bit of defeat, but there's new ideas, and there's new ideas for partnership between the city and the downtown, and they're starting to think a little bit differently. Something that might be a little surprising is when asked in the meeting, I said, I think of the downtown as a campus, and all of the public spaces, it's almost like an acupuncture, where we've noticed that when the streets stay completely open and there's programming in specific spots, it can help to elevate and help all the businesses. When things are closed off, when you have food in front of food, a lot of times it ends up taking away business from businesses. Or if you don't have the right mix in the right space, then it ends up hurting the businesses, or it can help the business. So this week, there was this very interesting thing where there was a double book for Patches and Pins and for the Vegan Fest at the same spot because of the transition out of Bill McGovern and now Amber in her space. So one of the things that happened is everybody got pushed out by a series of like they put the Vegan Fest over at the Spurgeon Promenade. We got a call from the gal who usually does normal programming, and she said, I can't get into that space, so I need to move to the second Saturdays of the month, which is when we usually have a dance thing. So the dance thing got moved to the Callejon de Beso. Like, it was a whole chain effect because those areas are programmed, and then people aren't looking at the global programming kind of situation, which is something that I've been really asking the city to really start looking at it in that way. And so that's something that I had a really good discussion with both Sonia and Timothy about, because if we don't, and this was the surprising piece, is that they said, we don't even think of ourselves as Parks and Rec as a part of like this campus of the downtown. They think of themselves individually about what they need to do for parks management. So they weren't even thinking about us in terms of the bid district that we have and those lines drawn, which is sort of like why I feel like over all this time when I keep saying we're trying to program all these different spaces and you guys are a part of downtown, that it's just not the way that they were seeing, they were seeing themselves. So that was very interesting. Anyway, we have upcoming a breakfast with the councilman coming up on the 29th, and a lot of people have been affected by violence on the corner of 5th Street. And so, and a lot of businesses have a lot of questions in general. So Jonathan Hernandez is going to come in and he's going to speak to everyone on the 29th, and Nora Briseño is going to be creating a breakfast so that merchants and everyone can come in and just talk to their councilman and find out more. So that should be a good moment of discussion for a lot of people who have a lot of questions about a lot of different things. And then we did also, Councilman Hernandez has been very helpful in a long-term placemaking project, which is to create a memorial for the Chinese people who were essentially burned down at one point in the history of the city. And that's in the space that's over on the corner of Bush and 3rd Street. So there was a pop-up placemaking event where Councilman Hernandez was sitting there on the street with us, and everybody was sitting together going through the documentation of this Chinatown Memorial project. And it was funny because the city planning actually came out and they were like, you guys need to move off of the street, not knowing that like Councilman Hernandez is right there. And anyway, it was really interesting. And you guys will see photographs of all of this in the upcoming report. But
what about the Japanese that we pulled out of their homes? We pulled them out of their homes, we pulled them out. Nobody ever recognizes them.
Well,
we had many families in Santa Ana. This happened to them.
You're absolutely right, Bobby. And the whole point of this is that we need to start
an Asian thing.
We need to start sharing about how, like, our appreciation for all of the communities within our city. And so this is the beginning, and he is going to create a something at City Hall coming up, and you guys will learn more information about all of that as we go along.
Thank you.
The other thing is we are planning an annual forum. I know that many people on the board said, let's try to get it at the end of this month. We're going to actually, we have the first week of May. So the annual forum again is going to be a place where I think that our board, for one, needs to share some history, because we hear a lot of narratives going around that are inaccurate about who we are. It gives us a platform to be able to share, but we're also going to have all different folks, and we're going to invite folks like Ana Laura and many of the different groups to come in and share at this forum so that we can have a dialogue with a lot of different folks that haven't really actually been in the same room together. And we've done this in the past in Santa Ana Business Council and Downtown Inc., but it will be at the Frida Cinema, and we are still working on all the details and et cetera, but we will be giving you an update, and that'll be the first week of May. And then council advocacy, I know that there's been a lot of letter writing, there's been a lot of meetings, and there's been a lot of talks because of all of the things going on. So that's the advocacy piece, and we're continuing on with our advocacy for the downtown. And then I think I went through everything. And I will let Maria take care of the communications report.
Well, I just want maybe Mario, we had a huge lockdown at Santa Ana High that included Santa Ana High, Henninger, and then it rebounded to fewer people at Lowell. Do you want to make, because I've had to affect downtown.
Yeah, and it's, I don't have all the details of.
No, I know,
but
it's just an over.
What happened is there was some kind of threat made to the
A
school.
call.
So out of precaution, the department, what we'll do is, if we have anything that's high risk in the vicinity of the school, we will place the schools on lockdown just for the safety of the teachers, the students, the staff. And that's what happened in that incident. I believe it was a criminal threat that was made, violence at the school. It was investigated, and while it was being investigated and being confirmed that it was either a viable or non-viable threat, that's what will normally occur. We'll put the schools on lockdown. If we do a barricaded suspect, or we had a robbery suspect that ended up crashing at one of the schools down in Lowell, we'll place that school on lockdown while we secure the area and make more than anything for the safety of the children and the staff. Like I said, it's just a precautionary measure. And for Santa Ana and Henninger, and I forgot what other schools. Yeah, that because they're so close in vicinity, we just out of precaution will do that as a department, and then proceed to, once it's deemed safe, we'll all the schools and lift those lockdowns.
I want you to know, Santa Ana Unified also, we have our own police department. Because when I was active, I got those policemen in 2 years to the police association and stuff. So it's a very active, in fact, actually, our school police has to take care of, and I know they brought Santa, but they have to be the ones that are responsible for every single one of our schools. But we do have a Santa Ana Unified with plus.
Correct. We'll work in conjunction with them just because.
Major.
Exactly. They're a smaller department, so we will definitely assist on any situations like that occur at school.
Because I know there was a lot of helicopters and stuff.
Yes.
We're almost over time. It's already 10 o'clock, and I just want to allow her really quickly to go through the communications.
Thank you, guys. I just want to mention, I proposed, there's a lot of not confusion as to who is Santa Ana Business Council, who is Calle Cuatro Marketplace. So I proposed that the board consider a soft rebrand, whether you guys either call yourselves Calle Cuatro DTSA or something, and you guys will have the full say on what you call yourselves, but you need to consider changing the name? Or are you gonna be Santa Ana Business Council, but then people confuse you with City Council, or you're going to be Calle Cuatro or something? But you guys will consider it.
It's, in the rebranding is to streamline, essentially what happens all the time is de facto, everybody knows downtown and they recognize downtown as the major brand for downtown, which is fine. What we see is that because we have two different names, people are really not ever really understanding who we are. And so a lot of things in general is they don't know who we are. They don't use the name. They don't know who Santa Ana Business Council. They often say, I'll hear people say, oh, you're on the city council. And I'll be like, no, we're not. I'm not on the city council. We're not the city. So just in general for our target marketing and for at least our pages and everything, we need a stronger brand. And the main thing is maintaining Calle Cuatro is really important to us because it's part of our original even fights and stuff downtown was to keep that because the community knows Calle Cuatro, but we want to make sure that they know that it's Calle Cuatro and downtown Santa Ana. So there's going to be some things that are going to go past all of your desk to look at and make choices around how do we rebrand so that we can come back out and people can really understand who we are.
And you guys know the history better than me, but we do know Calle Cuatro is Calle Cuatro, and we have to establish there's Calle Cuatros all over the world. So we're Calle Cuatro in Santa Ana, California, and you guys will ultimately make the decision. The other thing when we're promoting businesses, I've heard you guys loud and clear, we are bilingual, so definitely putting things in English and in Spanish. And also starting to put out all our meetings on social media way ahead of time. So we have the calendar that we're maintaining. It was brought to my attention. We did not put the location of this meeting, even though it was on the website, it wasn't on the agenda. So just looking at all our communication that goes out and just being, making sure we're not missing anything, like the location of this meeting and things like that. One last thing, I don't know much about the digital directory printing. Is that the QR codes?
Yeah.
So we have streamlined a calendar of events on the Calle Cuatro Marketplace website, and we want to propose that we print out QR codes that can send people to like our audiences to our website, and that's where because we can only print so many posters and put them on windows, which is a good form, but if people are not coming to our downtown, how are they going to see that? So we'll get more creative digitally. There's something really exciting with Travel Santa Ana that's in the works, which is like the American Dream project, like a small video series. So that one I don't have an update.
Yeah, we had a meeting with Travel Santa Ana and they want to we're going to start with the 12 American Dream stories that we already have, and everything's going to be turned into video footage. And she has a videographer who's going to come down and they're going to set up meetings and do 1-minute spots to start sharing again the stories of the people who are in these businesses so that people really get to see them and visibly. And I think that is really important, especially for our downtown, because I think people come for people and for the story. And one of the things I also saw on that Zydeco data, which was really interesting, is that Cerveza had more people coming from everywhere. And I don't even know how they popped up as a main item for how many people, but Cerveza had more visitors from all over outside of Orange County than anybody. It was shocking, honestly, to see the data. Anyway, just saying the story I think is important. So we're going to be doing that, and it's exciting that we have a partner.
And then finally, your social media channels are, thriving right now. I think partnering at this last art walk, putting Calle Cuatro Marketplace in downtown Santa Ana on, flyers, on the maps has helped. I've been doing collaborations on social media so people I'm cross-promoting with downtown Santa Ana because everybody knows downtown Santa Ana is the main voice, but your guys as Calle Cuatro Marketplace, it's growing. You're close to 4,000 followers on Instagram, And
From zero, remember?
so it's,
Is it, when you say downtown Santa Ana, do you mean downtown Inc.?
Yeah, they have the
downtown.
downtown brand, and everybody knows the
Right.
downtown brand.
Right, okay.
but
So
now
maybe
people are
it's-
turning to Calle Cuatro Marketplace for social media.
And they're starting to tag us on everything, which is the first time we've really gotten input,
Collaborative, which is huge.
where our businesses are telling us, here's my marketing, put it out. So that has not happened in 6 years, and that's something that's
huge.
helpful.
And that's all I have. Yes, thank you.
Is that it? I'm sorry, a question, Madeline, the digital directory, what's the update on that?
Okay, so the digital direct, so she just mentioned the QR codes to taking people to the calendar. The main thing, and this is something that a lot of people have been calling me because they're like, do you have all the updated businesses? And I didn't, because I didn't have the new bid list from Mark Morley. So he just gave me that this week. We are going to again take, and we have to update all of our pages, because what we're trying to figure out is, do we link the QR code directly to our own website? So if they're finding businesses, they're finding the sectors that we definitely have already mapped out, or can we organize the whole bid list so that anybody can come and find on that, which there's a part of this that requires a lot of work, which is still being able to have a photograph of every single business, that when somebody comes in, they can actually see where the face of the business and then get the data about that business. And that's work that essentially in Santa Ana Business Council, we have to do personally. And right now, I also found out that the organization that I was working on with the mural map, for instance, they didn't have the bandwidth, and they were going to shut down because of COVID, but they didn't have the bandwidth to finish. They already built our app for the mural, but they haven't finished the actual, all the data retention. So I said, look, in order to save this and finish this project, I'm going to do it myself. That is a lot. It's a lot of work, because you have to find the stories of each of the people. And so that's the kind of thing that also needs to be done with our businesses downtown. And every time we have a list, and we even have a program to do it, but like our administration, like one of the helpers who's working with us, she actually just had a baby. And so like, there's all these like little things. So it's something where everything just is going to take time. And I am doing a lot of these things myself, so it takes a little bit longer.
I'm gonna excuse myself, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting also.
Okay.
It's already outside, so, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks everybody for, coming to the meeting.
I just want to remind the young lady that quality